Today I'm going to talk about Hearthfire. It's the new Skyrim DLC that was just released on Xbox Live. So this is going to be a first impressions video talking about how Hearthfire works and my first impressions of playing this game. I've only played this game a couple hours. I woke up at 5 in the morning hoping to download it as soon as possible, but Xbox Live was actually down for a little bit, so it's not so bad because I got a little more sleep, but I downloaded it at 7 in the morning and then played it for a couple of hours. So overall, I really like the concept. You only have to pay 400 Microsoft points for it, and right now it's only released on Xbox Live, I believe. It will be released on the PC, but it will most likely not be released on the PS3. Dawnguard hasn't even been released on the PS3, and I really sympathize for those of you who bought the game for the PS3, but this game really isn't made for the PS3. I mean, the PS3 is not good at supporting this type of game. Not that I hate the PS3. I have a PS3 myself and I love it, but I understand that this type of game is just it's very glitchy and has a lot of problems on the PS3, and it shouldn't. I really feel bad for you, those of you who played on the PS3, but it probably won't be released anytime soon. For this DLC, I'm just going to give a disclaimer. For those of you who just downloaded it and or are considering playing it, you get 3 properties to choose from in this that you can build on. It is Morthal, Falkreath, and Dawnstar. Well, the individual territories are Hijalmark, Falkreath, and the Pale, I believe, if I pronounced all of those right. In order to build property, and this is really important, and this is not explained to you, I actually spent several hours trying to figure this out. It was very frustrating. You must be Thane of those 3 places, either Morthal, Falkreath, or Dawnstar. And if you aren't Thane, you cannot build property, and you won't get the letter from the courier as soon as you start the DLC. Now, as soon as you start the DLC, you should get a letter from a courier at some time, or you may have to wait a little bit for the courier to catch up with you, explaining about adoption and explaining about how to build property, where to build property. Now, you will only get the letter about how to build property if you were a Thane of those 3 places, so I didn't get a letter, and this is a problem that many people had, so that's why I'm explaining it. Because I looked online for a long time trying to find it out, and because this DLC is new, a lot of people were just asking about how to solve that issue, and not many people had answers for it. So that's important. Obviously, if you haven't heard about this DLC, it's about building property, building your own home for you and your family, and you can adopt children as well. That's another addition to this DLC. You can also get a house steward who will help buy supplies to help you build your house and will help you defend your home. I asked the House Carl that I got from Morthal, I believe, and I had to go back and become Thane of Morthal because I hadn't done that already. Now, when you get to this property, you need to go to, first of all, you need to go to those 3 properties that I talked about and talk to the steward, I believe, of the capital, and the steward will obviously be next to the Jarl of that area, and ask them about buying property or buying a home. And then they'll tell you that we don't have any homes in this area, but you can build property. So once you buy property, which is only like 5,000 coin, I believe, it's very cheap, you can go to the property. It'll be close to that area. It'll be a little house on the map, and it'll probably say something manor. I think mine was called Winstad Manor, the one from Morthal. So yeah, you go to that property and you will have a drafting table, a workbench, and an anvil. And the drafting table gives you floor plans of the different additions to your house. And you have to start out with the floor plan for the small home. Then you take that floor plan and you go to the workbench. Well, first of all, you get a chest next to the workbench, and that will give you a bunch of supplies to use to make your home. And you will need to gather supplies like clay, wood, iron, those are some of the most important, and I believe some type of stone to create your home. And you take those supplies, go to the workbench, and you can create the individual different parts of your home. And there will also be a guide in the chest that comes next to the workbench to help you with that. The anvil is where you smith nails and stuff that to use for different parts of your home. Now, I only crafted the small home part, so that basically the entranceway of the home, and I started creating the main hall area. The main hall connects all the different additions, like your bedroom and the children's bedroom, and the you can also add like an alchemy area, garden area. It looks really cool, and I'm pretty excited about that. My impression is I'm just excited that I have another thing to waste countless hours on in Skyrim. I love doing semi like monotonous things in Skyrim, because all of those things that are kind of monotonous or kind of frivolous, like smithing and enchanting, just end up really rewarding. I finally got dragon armor, and it just felt so awesome because I spent so much time doing it, and I feel that building a house is the same for me. If you hate doing that kind of stuff, maybe this DLC isn't for you, but I really enjoy it so far. Also, you know, there's the building aspect, and I think that's going to add also to the RPG element. I feel that it's hard. Like, I enjoy the exploration, and I enjoy enchanting and smithing, but I feel like I'm not as immersed in the RPG element of the experience, and that's mostly because there's not that much dialogue with your followers and whatnot like there is in Fallout New Vegas, and I'm a big Fallout fan. Fallout 3 and Fallout 3 New Vegas. I really love Bethesda's interpretation of the Fallout games. And I just love that there's more dialogue in New Vegas, and you can like figure your characters out. And there's not that, they don't really have that in Skyrim. If they had added that in this DLC, excuse me, that would have really, really helped with the RPG element. But I do enjoy the building the home and stuff. Now, adoption got the most criticism out of everyone who's talked about this DLC. Everyone's really down on the adoption option, and adoption option, that kind of rhymes. People just kind of hate the idea. Now, obviously, having a baby isn't really an option right now. Unless there's mods that can create children that are younger than the age of 6 and 7, that range, that, you know, that's the age range that these kids are, and obviously Skyrim doesn't have any kids younger than that. So to have kids and then have them grow up, that would take a lot more time just to do that and to create that and figure that out, and I feel like that would even cause even more glitches to have to do that. So adoption avoids that problem. Plus, like, my Duvahking, I don't know how she'd go around slaying dragons and beating the crap out of bandits while she's like really preggers. And I know that in Skyrim they'd probably make it 9 months in Skyrim, because Skyrim is just that crazy real. So I just don't know how that's even possible. Now, I didn't buy this DLC for the adoption option. Like, I need to stop saying that. Just like adoption option, the adoption, but because I just didn't really care. Like, I just had my Duvahking marry Mercurio. I couldn't really decide on who she was gonna marry. Because it just didn't, like, it's not as cool as, like, the romances in Mass Effect and stuff, but, I finally decided to marry Mercurio, and I was just like, I don't want kids to have to take care of. But then I was running through Whiterun, and I saw this little girl. They added new characters and new orphans in this game. This little girl was begging on the street for money, and I gave her some coin. And she explained to me, I asked her, I was like, why are you begging? Like, why are you sitting here begging? She explained how her mother had died, and her uncle had taken over the farm and kicked her out. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I have to adopt this kid. I mean, I just have such a heart for orphans as it is, and Oh my gosh, so I have a feeling I'm gonna end up adopting like every orphan in this game. It's probably gonna happen, but so overall my first impression is it's enjoyable and I'm really excited about it. Um yeah, I it's only 400 Microsoft points, so it's not making a big dent in my wallet. But Bethesda just they're really great at making DLC, and the fact that they only charge 400 for this, it isn't a large file. It doesn't add that much to the Skyrim. It didn't take like 2 hours to download like every other DLC that I've downloaded. But they they didn't charge us more than they needed to, like every other DLC out there, like Batman Arkham Asylum and Mass Effect. But yeah, they give us substantial stuff, and this is just a little thing. Like this isn't like a big mission, a big like these large epic DLCs that Skyrim usually makes or Bethesda usually makes, but it's just a fun little addition. So it's a nice little cherry on top of the sundae. So yeah, that's my impression. If you want to see more from me, I make tons of game reviews every, like, at least twice a week. So if you want to hear more from me, remember to subscribe, remember to comment and like as well, and I should go.